Yeah, I really did.
Then we're looking at building.
I know. Oh, see, there he goes. All right, we are Village of Minerva Park Council meeting March 10th, 2022, 7 p.m. And we will start with roll call. We're going to start with Councilperson Tresta.
Here.
Councilperson Bruger is excused. And we will, do I need to say that? And we will not be docking pay?
Yeah. that's
Okay. Do we need to vote or do anything on that at the
fine. I
end?
think we are supposed to have a roll call.
Roll-
vote. Not roll call, just a voice vote.
A voice vote? Okay. We'll do that after all this. Council President Wolf.
I hear.
Councilperson Koss is also excused. Councilperson McNamara.
Present.
And Councilperson Camera.
Present.
Okay, let Jesse remind us exactly what we're supposed to be doing here. And both, we will not be docking pay, and we want to just do a voice vote for all the members that are here. Are we all
So moved.
so moved? Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Extensions? Anything? Perfect.
It's such a weird thing.
I know it is, I just don't want to mess it up, so, and we hadn't been doing it in the past, and we want to make sure that we're doing that, so, and now let's go to Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's go to February 10th council meeting minutes.
Move to approve?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Anything? Okay, let's go straight to the village official reports. Let's start with Chief Dell.
Thank you, Mayor. All of you probably received a copy of my report. I don't have any additional at this time.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief? All right, let's move over to Fiscal Officer Leah Klein.
I have basically been audit prepping. It is an audit year, so we should be getting that started in, I'd say the end of April, beginning of May. So that's all I have to report.
Perfect. And just for anybody that does want to know, you guys are going to have legislation tonight. We did have somebody accept the position that we will be transferring some of the duties to this person and lightening her load a little bit, but she will also still be the assistant fiscal officer. So once we get there, if anybody has questions, let me know. Let's move to Jesse. No? Okay. I thought you said you needed something.
No, I do not. I will say this though, we do, I put a resolution on today to reject the bids, the
Yes.
2 bids that we received. I have it there noted as passed as emergency. That is not technically required. I just wanted to
Okay.
have it done, so we can't do it. We can't wait for readings tonight anyway. Not a
Okay.
big deal. We'll do it.
Okay, perfect.
That's all done.
Awesome. Let's go to our engineer, Mr. Mike Flickinger.
All right, a relatively light update for this meeting. Task order number 14, the Westerville City School District, Minerva Park Schools Plan Review. Just wanted to update council to let council know, if you weren't aware, that the school district, their design professional, Osborne Engineering, did submit their Farview Road widening plans. We reviewed those plans. We returned our comments to them on the 8th, Tuesday, so a couple days ago. Generally, pretty minimal comments. I think we'll probably just get one more set of plans back from them and be able to approve them. The only thing that I'm a little unsure about, and I copied the mayor and planning on this email message back to the design professional, and I don't know if legal will have to weigh in on this at some point, but I'm not sure how this project will actually be delivered. It's the school district is responsible for designing it, obviously, and I think they're covering the cost of it, but I'm not sure who's responsible for letting it and managing it.
They're going to do all that.
So they will handle
That is,
the
yes,
bidding.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Easy enough then.
Yep.
So then I think really if they're gonna handle the letting and handle the management of the contract, I think the only thing then that I would recommend is we still have a meeting with them, because it's your streets, your detours, everything. So I think the village should put the constraints in place. Knowing that, I may issue a couple additional review comments to beef up maybe a maintenance of traffic plan, because I think Farview will probably at a minimum have to be down to 1 lane during construction, if not taken out of service, so I'll follow up with them on that. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure how that was going to be bid. The second item on my list is task order number 18, which is the 2021 storm sewer improvements project. So in case people are not aware, I suspect most everybody is aware, DJX Construction has, their clearing contractors completed the clearing work at the properties. So they've stripped topsoil and taken down trees and clearing and grubbing. So everything is ready for construction to begin, except for the fact that there has been a production delay for the reinforced concrete pipe, the RCP, that we're using for the project. So their pipe supplier had a breakdown at their facility, so they were shut down for about 3 weeks. And then because of that 3-week shutdown, all their orders have backed up for more than 3 weeks. So it looks like there's approximately a 6-week delay in getting the pipe. So originally we were anticipating a mobilization next Tuesday, March 15th, based on a meeting with the contractor that the mayor and Jacobs and the contractor, the pre-construction meeting, we're targeting a mobilization date now of June 1st. So it's an approximate 8-week delay from when we thought we might start. Just to put everyone, because this is a question I'm sure that people would ask, the contractor did reach out to other pipe suppliers to see if they could get the pipe from a different manufacturer. They reached out to 2 other ones in Ohio. There aren't a whole lot of these manufacturers in Ohio. The 2 manufacturers that they reached out to, both of them declined to take on an additional order. Those 2 plants are so far behind that they can't meet the delivery schedules that they have already booked. So they're not wanting to take on any additional orders until they can catch back up. So that made it basically impossible to get the RCP any faster. We did discuss using a different pipe material. It would take some coordination with the city of Columbus because we use the city of Columbus's standards, and this pipe would not be standard for the city of Columbus. But to use that pipe, they would have to resubmit, we'd have to review it, approve it, then get on the books for them. And by the time all that happened, the pipe would get here about June 1st. So there's really not much of a benefit to trying to use a different pipe material. So we're going to stick with the RCP, and we're hoping that we can mobilize on June 1st. Because the site has been cleared, there was a short time period between when clearing was finished and when we were supposed to start, whereas now we're looking at almost 2.5 more months until we can start. So we're working with the contractor and we're working internally to identify some temporary erosion control that we can probably put back there. One of the biggest challenges is, this is Ohio and it's not great growing season yet, so even some of the temporary erosion control that we might normally recommend won't quite work right now. So we're looking at some different options. Had preliminary conversations with the contractor earlier this week. Had some conversations with some of our temporary erosion control, not specialists, but experienced people in the company, and hopefully we can have some direction for them in the next week or so.
Like that thick matting, like that kind of, like a straw or rope matting that goes over the side and stuff?
Yeah, what we would normally do in this situation is actually plant grass. Not like long-term grass, but just basically construction seeding and mulching, and just let it grow so that there's some growth that holds stuff in. The ground back there is still a little rough, still a little frozen, still a little rutted. So it might be a straw material. Just really all we're looking to do in this interim time period is try to keep any mud and dirt and silt from washing down people's backyards and then into the North Lake.
Delaware County Parks uses some matting like that on very steep edges.
Yeah, and it comes in a roll, right? And you just roll it out, and it's, like you said, it's pretty thick, and you can kind of stake it in. Yeah. So we're looking at options for Then the only other item I had on my list is the task order number 20, which is the 2022 storm sewer improvements project. I should say that 2021 is the AKA East Shore Core project. The 2022 is the AKA Jordan Road project. We've been trying to coordinate with the city of Columbus, and we're still coordinating with them to see if there's something we can do to our preliminary design to minimize the expense of that preliminary design. Took us a little bit of effort to get some record drawings from the city, but we were finally able to get guidance from them as to what projects actually built some of this work. It didn't have the information on the drawings that we had hoped. So I sent a follow-up email message to the city earlier this week if I could try to get some sewer modeling from them. And we're gonna try to set up a meeting in the next week or two to work through some stuff and then try to come up with a solution for that project. The numbers indicate a pipe that's bigger than all the other pipes that are out there. And I trust our model, but I'm a little gun shy just based on the fact that the pipe is so much bigger than everything that's currently out there. So I just want to make sure that we didn't miss something. So that's generally where we stand with that.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh my goodness, waiting for more. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mike since he's here? Okay, I'll hurry up and get going.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome,
you.
Mike.
Yeah,
We kind of thought there might be more.
yeah, no, well, hey, that works. So let's move to legal counsel, Jesse Shamp.
Nothing to add.
Perfect, we love that. Eric Fisher, Village Planning.
Just follow up that, based on what Jesse said, if there's any questions concerning the resolution to get rid of all the bids, we are happy to talk about that. And third reading for the approval for Jesse's firm to continue with our zoning rewrite and review. I talked to him earlier in the week and confirmed that it just doesn't need to be passed as an emergency, it's an amendment to the current contract, and it goes into effect immediately upon passage. So we can proceed with them, which would be great, and at the next P&Z meeting, we can start involving them in that process, and they'll jump on that after tonight, so after passage.
Does anybody have any questions for our village planner, Eric Fisher? Okay. I think everybody has, let's see, is John's report in here? I think it's in here. Has everybody had a chance to look over John's report? And does anybody have any questions? If you do, send him an email. Sorry. I mean, I could try. Okay, so if anybody does have any questions, seriously, feel free to email John and let him know if you have any questions, problems, concerns. Planning and zoning, Brian Wolf.
No, we have not had a meeting since, and our last meeting that was scheduled for this week is canceled, so our next scheduled meeting is April something.
I think it's April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Is it?
April 6th.
6th? April 6th.
April 6th, thank you.
Thank you. I knew it was an April and a single digit number. That's, and probably even.
Yeah, I feel like I saw that earlier today,
Yeah.
but, okay, so April 6th, planning and zoning, 7 PM, it will be here. MPCA, Nicole Shrestha.
So they just had their latest meeting Wednesday on the 9th. Right now, they're kind of really focusing on their website, their new website that they're getting ready to have done in their directory. That's been a couple years in the making. They're really excited to have that directory finally getting done and being out. Working on extravaganza and, having all these new events, especially with COVID ramping down. They're able to be active like they were 2 years ago. And I know they have, on March 29th, they're doing like a bourbon, they've like got a private thing at Watershed Distillery. So they're really geared up for that. So lots of stuff that they have planned coming up in the winter months.
Yay.
Yeah, that's it.
I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm not sure. Jeez. Okay, let's move to village committee reports, and let's start with Councilperson Shrestha for communications.
So We held a meeting last week, kind of, we wanted to touch base about the building presentation that we're going into March 17th. We do have, I think, 15 signs out, 15 to 20 signs out. Everybody also got that mailer that we sent to each house. And I'm gonna have to step back and say, put my mask off, because I'm having a hard time. I'm eating my mask, ladies and gentlemen, I'm eating my mask. We met with the videographer today to go over, kind of brainstorm. We will have a 2-camera crew. They're shooting this as a commercial professional video. I think it's just a wonderful thing to have, to showcase how much we're growing and showcase, where we're going. We have a lot of awesome things planned. So we will have 3 mics that we'll be passing, all the logistics that we're getting to. But again, that'll be professionally recorded. Me and Barb went to meet with the principal yesterday. So yeah, we met with him. So the logistics, we're getting all those. A couple other things we talked about, regular coffee with council. We want to call it chatting for council. We're going to do that quarterly. Residents choosing the topics, maybe having a list, letting them spark the engagement and really let it be more community-led. The survey we're talking about, we really are kind of gearing up to do that. So now we're trying to think about how we want to alter and change the existing one from 2018. What do we want to add, what do we want to take out? And again, this is something that most places do every 2 to 3 years. So I think it's also something that we should probably consider making sure we do, staying up so we know the best way to communicate. Last thing, email software. I did go through all the training. We have a 30-day trial that we're getting ready to start. So I really want to be able to not only do that, but while doing the training, I found out that we can actually do monthly email teasers, kind of sort of like Constant Contact or MailChimp, where we can send like monthly Minerva Park teasers, you know what I mean? Just something. However, on the same sense, just like our SMS messaging, say the pool is closed down or we have something going on with one, like just like sending an email, it goes out to everybody that has an email. So it's just one more avenue. In the 2018 survey, they preferred email communications. So I think it's going to be awesome, and it's just one more outlet to let our residents know what's going on. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, finance, Brian, Council President Wolf.
The Finance Committee, I can't remember if we actually had a meeting or not, but if we did, it was in regards to the TIF, financing against the future revenues of the TIF in an effort to finance the community building renovation and lake rehabilitation projects, as well as potentially some other infrastructure-related items. That continues to proceed forward while we continue to work on bids and estimates for these projects. I think probably we will wait until we hear back from the financing authority as to when we need to meet next. There you go.
Any questions for Council President Wolf?
Is there a meeting for finance scheduled anytime?
No, I just said we'll probably wait until we hear back from the finance authority, because, I mean, at this point, all we can talk about is the things that we've already talked about, right? We need more inputs to chew on.
Talk about what we hope. There
Sorry,
you
I
go.
still haven't talked about it
This
yet.
doesn't make
I
any
know, trust me. Okay, streets. The only thing that I will add to Mike's report is we're almost to the point that I can sign for the Resource International road analysis. So we're coming up on that. So as soon as I get that, I'll let you know. We have it on the calendar. I don't remember what day it is, but it's coming. So as soon as we get that, we will get the streets assessed and let you know where we are with that. So community, councilperson Camera.
Yeah, we've not met since the last one, so I'll be scheduling a meeting and then we'll have some updates.
Perfect. Safety, councilperson McNamara.
Well, nothing major to add on, just the congratulations to Officer Southard and Kimber for the 100% on the special purpose canine unit evaluation. Good on them. If anybody is keeping track of the calls month to month, year to year, it's down a little bit, so hopefully things have been a little more peaceful around. So that's well, except for traffic stops, of course, that's gone up. But the major stuff seems to be about the same or down, so that's about what I have.
Perfect. Anybody have any questions for Councilperson McNamara? Or Cameron for that matter, because I skipped him. And I knew I skipped it as soon as I said it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so legislation, we have a meeting, I believe, next in 2 Thursdays, which is the 24th at 6:30. And I'm not Councilperson Berger, so would you like to read legislation?
Yeah,
And
I got
I
it.
will do roll call.
All set up for that. All right.
Awesome.
First item of legislation on, oh wait, we skipped over citizens' comments.
Oh.
You gotta get the.
Oh wait, I haven't even done, I haven't done me that,
You
so
told me
this is,
when you
I
did.
did.
It's
This
like
is
we
not
forgot how to
normal.
do this.
No, it changed.
There's no legislative report for Mark.
Yeah, there's not, so, my mayor's report's simple, we do have a food truck this Friday. It's going to be tortilla, and to be honest with you, we have this huge list, and maybe we can find a way to post it online. We have almost every single week filled in for the entire year, most of which are gonna be on Fridays, 4 to 7 p.m. Next Friday is gonna be Schmitz on March 18th, and then we have Cousins Lobster coming back on March 20th. Don't worry, I'm not gonna read all these. March 25th, Cousins Lobster will also be here. We do put those in the newsletter as well. And then they're also on the calendar on the website. So we did get some information back from John about the pool, so get your things scheduled, because if we're gonna do the software, I wanna get it ordered. So I'd love to have that meeting as soon as possible, but I think we forwarded it to you. I don't know if everybody got it, but I will make sure that everybody has John's email with his response to everything. And then really the only other big thing, and I guess I could do this at any time, you already hit on it, but March 17th at 7 p.m. at Hawthorne Elementary is going to be our, it's really, we're just going over the facility building, where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. And we do plan on having the architect there, which is Garmin Miller, our financing, I'm not exactly sure.
Advisor.
Who's coming on it?
Financial advisor.
Okay, is that who is coming? Okay. We will have our financial advisor that'll give a brief update on that as well. Then at the end, we will allow people to come up and just kind of ask some questions and different things like that. We plan on having the floor plan out. So again, 7 p.m., March 17th at Hawthorne. And the signs are all over the place. Thank you for getting those out. They also got out the postcards. Everybody should have those in their mail by now. And then I'm sure we'll be sending out text blasts and all of that stuff as well. We just want to make sure the communication is out there, so we're well on our way with that. So that is my report until I remember something else. And then we are going to move over to the appointment of non-voting member to Planning and Zoning Commission. I would like to recommend Terry O'Connor. She has been to all of our planning and zoning meetings, and we have somebody that is wanting to step down. And so I'm looking to appoint Terry O'Connor to planning and zoning.
So moved.
All those in favor?
I need a second.
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 See, I'm like lost today. We got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. And let's go to citizen comments.
I know the routine.
All right.
Tony Benedetti, 2937 Berry Lane Court. I mean, I'm going to continue to talk about the fence appeal. I know you guys all got emails recently that this issue isn't resolved by any stretch of the imagination. And I'd like to recap. You know, last meeting, I pointed out that the code enforcement officer and the planner are not interpreting the code with fences about where they're allowed to be at. I brought that up. I haven't heard anybody talk about that, but we're going into the fence season and the code isn't being interpreted correctly. It's a pretty simple thing for you guys to look into. And then The second thing I brought up was that Eric had said that it's not the place for the village to referee this dispute between the two property owners. Now, I'd like for you to put yourself in their position, where your neighbor built a fence in your yard. You were told, get a survey. They got a survey that indicates that the fence was built in their yard. So why the village doesn't think they have the authority or the responsibility to address this issue? Just imagine if you, Jason, your neighbor put a fence in your yard, and then you went to the village and said, hey, I got a survey that says it's in my yard. And they told you, well, you can go to Franklin County Common Pleas and sue them at thousands of dollars your expense. The reality is, it is your place, the village's place, to fix this problem. Now, the next thing that I wanted to point out last meeting was that Eric had told everyone that the code was changed in 1989 to add in the language about shared driveways. Well, I've got a copy of the ordinance 589 that it doesn't say anything in here. There's no description about what was changed, what was added, what was taken out of the code. But Eric, under oath, misrepresented the fact that he had some knowledge about what was done in 1989 with the code. He told everyone that the council at that time added this language in about shared driveways. That is a bold-faced lie. And the mayor, most of the people on this council or in the administration, they're not going to do a thing about it. Because as far as they're concerned, this is going to court. These people have to take the village to court. And you can see by the email that you got tonight, this is far from over. And someone on council has to step up and say, why? Is Tony crazy? Is the things that he's bringing up wrong? Someone has to do that, other than the mayor and the planning director, the water. They're not going to do it because they're the ones that have made the mistake. So I beg you guys to take a look at this again. Because again, you know, the residents should not have to take their neighbor to court for a fence that was put up in their yard. It's in a certified survey. So guys, you've dropped the ball on this, and it's only you that can pick it up and correct the mistake that's been made. Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna make one little minor comment, and I'm gonna keep it very brief. As far as that goes, there are facts that were presented that night. There are 2 surveys, there are multiple things that you did not point out, and that's all I'm gonna point out. So you only wanted to present the facts that you wanted to bring, but there were multiple surveys.
There's 3 of them
Okay,
that I know
so we're gonna move
2
on.
of them from the...
Okay, you said you were done, you're now sitting. So I'm just gonna point out that not all facts are being presented. Council was presented with 2 attorneys and facts, and where it goes from here, that's where it goes. So I just wanna remind people that you are one person that is coming in here, not presenting facts like we had with attorneys.
Tell me what fact that I'm not
Okay,
presenting.
let's-
Is there
you-
another survey?
Okay,
This
let's
is,
move on.
this is an opportunity to
Sorry,
go back and
I
forth.
know.
All right, so, but now we get on to the reading of legislation. The first item on this evening's agenda, or the first legislative item on this evening's agenda is ordinance 04-2022. An ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year of 2022. This is a first reading. The agenda does indicate that there was an intent to waive readings. We do not have enough council people present to do that. But I will point out that these appropriations are an increase to account for the code rewrite that we are endeavoring to engage into with Frost Brown Todd. Some funds that are getting moved around for the storm sewer project from the American Rescue Plan Act, and the Parkland Capital Improvement, and this is for funds that are being moved into place for the amphitheater project.
No.
Yes.
Well, there's a separate one for the end.
Oh, there's, so what
No.
are these 100,000?
That is
That's
for
for the
the,
park, right?
That is for like the shelter and those
Oh,
types of
that's the
things.
shelter,
Sorry.
okay, sorry.
That's my fault.
I just saw park structure and made a poor assumption.
Yes.
But,
No worries.
in any case, this is a first reading. We will see this again next time. Next up is ordinance 05-2022, an ordinance updating the wage and salary ranges, the number of employees and positions for the village of Minerva Park. This is also a first reading. And this is regarding an officer's rank changing and needing to adjust pay structures accordingly.
As well as the fiscal officer
Oh,
changes.
and the fiscal officer
Yes.
changes, thank you.
Yes.
Next up, and again, that was a first reading. Next up, ordinance 06-2022. Just want to have it up in front of me so that I can. Pages to that one. Hold on a second. There we go. An ordinance allocating funding for construction improvement of the village amphitheater project. So that is exactly what it says it is, and this is the first reading. Moving on to resolution 2022-05. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Frost Brown Todd for the review and revisions of the Village of Minerva Park zoning code. This is a third reading. And as such, I will move for passage of resolution 2022-05, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Frost Brown Todd for review and revision of the Village of Minerva Park zoning code.
Second. All right. Anybody have any questions or discussion?
Any discussion before we, all right, let's go.
Councilperson Camera.
Yes.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
And Councilperson Tresta.
Aye.
All right.
There we go.
Excellent. Moving on down the line to resolution. Just a second, 2022-07. A resolution setting the fees for membership day passes and pool rental for the Minerva Park Pool for the summer, for the 2022 summer season. Lots of interesting stuff in there and some new ideas. This is a second reading, and I believe there is an intent to have one more committee session before the last reading to just make sure that all those details are final and sorted out.
That'd be awesome.
All right, moving on down to resolution 2022-08, an ordinance approving the appointment of a fiscal officer and declaring an emergency. This is another one, we were just intending to waive the third reading, so that's not this time, but we are endeavoring to do some staffing reallocation. Do we have the name in this?
Well, yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Section 1.
Well, good. I didn't know, so I didn't know if it could be said, but
Yes.
it's there now. So, due to circumstances as they are, we are looking to bring back Jeffrey Wilczek, who is a fiscal officer previous to Kim Pulley, who will be working in a part-time capacity. And with him back here, we will be shifting around some of Leah's responsibilities to better manage these things. And this is a first reading. There you go. Resolution 2022-09, a resolution to amend and revise the Minerva Park fee schedule, and this is a first reading. I think, Eric, this was largely around right-of-way permitting.
No, this was, Mayor, this was for the boxes.
No, it's both. Right-of-way
both.
permitting,
Right-
$500
okay,
for 2
sorry.
hours. It's
And
both on
box
here.
retrieve or one box, no charge. Records retrieval from off-site storage.
So,
Is that?
oh, it's not the, okay. Yes. So we have had some adjustments to our records retrieval, because this is happening more and more and more. We are spending quite a bit of money retrieving boxes from our fireproof. That's what I was trying to think. So it's actually, this does not cover the full cost. It's actually $28 a box plus gas plus, I think, $3.75 to pull it, if I'm not mistaken. So this is still a work in progress at this point. This is just the first reading.
Yep.
And there are also maybe some adjustments as well as the right-of-way permitting, the $500 up to 2 hours
Yep.
as well. So that's going to be something that hopefully we'll have a chance to talk about exactly what we want to do. We did reach out to legal to make sure that that would be okay to do, and the answer is yes.
Cool, cool. All right, moving on, resolution 2022-10, a resolution declaring the necessity for renewal levy of a tax exceeding the 10 mil limitation, and requesting that the Franklin County Auditor certify to this council certain information pursuant to RC 5705-03B, and declare an emergency, first reading, intent to waive the third. Yeah, so again, this is just a first reading, we can't waive any readings tonight. And so this looks like we have another levy coming up, and this is starting the process of getting it on the ballot for
Correct.
everyone. And last but not least, resolution 2022-11, a resolution to redact all bids for the renovation and addition of the Minerva Park Community Building, and declaring an emergency for the public welfare in order to notify bidders. This is a first reading, we do not have enough bodies here to waive any subsequent readings. But yeah, basically the bids that came in, we found them all to be unacceptable, so we need to vacate all of that and do it again, Charlie. And that is all the legislation to be read per this agenda.
All right, and let's go to old business. Does anybody have any old business who would like to talk about? Anybody have any new business? All right, the only thing I ask is if everybody can get their committees scheduled. That's what I'm trying to think of, so maybe we can do that afterwards, or I know everybody's not here, maybe we need to send some emails, but that's the only thing I have.
Yes, all right, move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, get back out of here.
Are they on the website?